Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge Minister Wong's visit to Ukraine. She is the third high-ranking Australian official that has visited Ukraine since Russia's full-scale invasion, and it sends a very strong signal of support. This follows a visit by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and the Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles. So a big thank you from our community to Minister Wong for making the time to visit Ukraine and see firsthand what is happening there.
Would you have liked to have seen this embassy opened sooner? After all, 70 other countries have already opened their diplomats or returned their diplomats to Kyiv.
Yes, having a diplomatic mission on the ground in Kyiv is extremely important and something that the Ukrainian community in Australia has been advocating for years now. We just came back from a recent trip to Canberra, and that was one of the 4 points that we were advocating for, is to get the embassy reopened. It's incredibly important to have that presence on the ground because it will allow for better coordination of aid. They can get direct feedback from the front line in terms of the aid that's been provided by Australia, and also they can exchange intel with partner countries and figure out what's the best strategy going forward, how to coordinate that aid and to make faster decisions.
And what do you think about Senator Wong's announcement of that $66 million to assist Ukraine with reconstruction?
It's wonderful. It's something that we are extremely grateful for. Every bit helps, and Australia's participation in Ukraine's rebuilding and reconstruction is incredibly important. There's a lot of capability here in Australia that Ukraine can benefit from, and to have Minister Wong deliver that message personally in Ukraine, it's extremely important not only for the financial assistance that it will provide, but also for the signal that it sends, that Australia, even though is far away, stands with Ukraine and is there to support not only militarily but financially in humanitarian aid and other types of support.
There's also $10 million to help Ukrainians access heat and electricity, and we know that it's going into a very tough winter, or is in a very tough winter. What are some of the stories that you are hearing from people on the ground there about just how difficult it is, given that Russia has been targeting those energy resources of Ukraine?
Yes, that's something that needs to be highlighted more. Unfortunately, it slipped from the news headlines, but Russia is indiscriminately attacking Ukraine on a daily basis. It's with missile attacks, it's with drone attacks, and it's targeting critical infrastructure, mainly civilian subjects and objects that are being targeted. I have my entire family in Ukraine right now. It's a very difficult winter right now. I was just looking at the weather. It's -5 in Ukraine right now. It gets dark at about 4 p.m. So not only is there not a lot of natural light with critical infrastructure being targeted and destroyed, there are a lot of power cuts. There's no heating, no electricity, no running water, no warm water. So these are daily struggles that Ukrainians are going through because of Russia's attack. But it's also very difficult on the front line, where we have many hundreds and thousands of families that have been torn apart because of the war. Some have unfortunately died defending Ukraine. Others are standing on the front line of freedom in absolute horrid conditions, in freezing temperatures, heroically fighting and defending Ukraine. So physically it's very difficult right now, and that aid from Australia to go towards supporting Ukraine's energy infrastructure will go a long way and is very much appreciated.